Alright, today I wanted to show you how to take the P-64 apart, and we'll start with making sure it's safe. I don't have any magazine in there. Chamber itself is clear, so you can go ahead and get your trigger guard down, take the slide off, set the you can go ahead and set the frame itself to the side. We'll just start with the slide right now. And we'll go ahead and start by getting the firing pin out so we can get the safety out as well. So about the easiest way to do this is take you a punch or a scribe, and you're going to want to put it down in there to compress that firing pin. And if you have them, take a set of forceps. You're going to want to clamp those forceps down onto the trigger or the firing pin itself. So right here you can see that my firing pin's sticking out, forceps are grabbed onto it, and that's going to make this a whole lot easier because you can go ahead and get a hold of your safety. Go ahead and kind of start wiggling on it and get that to come out. Let your safety detent and spring come out, and then very carefully take your forceps and let that firing pin go, and it'll come out the back side with it and its spring. Alright, so once you've got that safety out of there and the firing pin, you can take the loaded chamber indicator out. To do that, there's a little keeper for it right inside there. It's right here. And just take your scribe, put that down in there, and just kind of pop it out of place. And there it is. So once that's out of there, we can move on to getting the extractor out. For the extractor, I take a screwdriver, flat blade. That way it fits in there pretty well perfect. You're going to put that screwdriver tip between the extractor and the plunger, kind of pull back on it with one hand, and use the other hand to kind of get that extractor up and out of there. Alright, so once you've got the extractor out, you can go ahead and take pressure off of that. You can turn that upside down. The loaded chamber indicator will come out. There's the plunger for the extractor. Give it a little bit of a tap on that slide, and then your spring for that detent for the extractor comes out as well. So that's everything taken out, so we can go ahead and put it back together. We'll just go ahead and start with the extractor. Go ahead and get your spring. I like to take an awl here and put the awl tip in the spring. Get that down in there. Alright, get the spring in there. You'll notice that your plunger itself is going to have a bit of a flat spot on it. That flat spot, when it's in place, is going to butt up to this flat spot here, and they'll just kind of match up, and that's what allows that extractor to hinge. So go ahead and put that in there. The flat spot is going to face the inside of the slide, and you'll probably have to kind of move that plunger around a little bit to get that flat spot to face the inside. So once you've got that, you can take your screwdriver, put that in there, and go ahead and compress that down. Get your extractor, put it in place down inside there. And the inside of that extractor will kind of fit into a little recess down inside there. So once that's all in place, it'll be in there. And there you can see that it hinges like it's supposed to. So we'll go ahead and we'll get the loaded chamber indicator, and you can see there it's got a bit of a slope. The high point of the slope that's going to face this, here's the slide's going to be sitting up here, and as that cartridge comes up, it'll come up into place, and that ends up pushing that out. So we'll take that, put it down in there. Just kind of give it a little push. You might have to move the extractor kind of out of the way a little bit. And as you'll notice that the end sticks out. About the easiest way I've seen to do this is you're going to want to kind of put that in as far as it'll go. And you'll see that there'll be a little hole area there. Go ahead and get your keeper. Go ahead and get that set in place. And every now and then it requires a bit of finagling to do. Alright, so once you've kind of got it loosely set down in there, you're going to take a scribe and push it down in there, and there's kind of a little area cut out in that'll allow your awl to kind of push it more towards the inside, and that's going to keep that spring kind of back while you push that indicator pin towards the rear. And you'll notice that when you do that, this here, it'll just fall right into place. You don't have to really do much to that. It just falls in there once you get that compressed and push that pin back towards the rear here. So we've got that in place. Go ahead and take your firing pin. You'll notice it's kind of got this little stud. That stud, it ends up interlocking inside this safety, and what that does is when you've got your safety on safe, it just keeps that firing pin from moving forward if something were to strike it, since it's blocked by the safety, the barrel part of the safety itself. So go ahead and put that in place. That stud will face to the open side here, and same deal, go ahead and get that, compress it down in there. And you'll want to watch these firing pins. They've got a lot of spring pressure on them, and they'll come shooting out of there. And that stud on that firing pin, it'll kind of fight you going down inside there. It'll get cocked every which way. Alright, so once you've got your safety started, you'll leave a gap because you're going to need to get your detent and spring inside there. So go ahead and get that put into place. Alright, once you've kind of got that started in the hole, you can begin putting your safety on in there. And I like to take that safety and push in on it while I'm compressing that detent down inside, because that kind of keeps it from springing back out of there if your awl or screwdriver happens to slip off. Alright, go ahead and then pop that on in place, and you'll notice that you should be able to move your safety pretty freely. So that's really it. That's all taken apart and put back together, so it's not that bad.